Give me a quick second, everybody. I'm just double checking something on my phone real quick. I just have to take care of. Da, da, da. All right, we are good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Got to use my external light here real quick because it's very gloomy outside, and natural lighting is probably not going to be the best for today. But yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and it's that time of the month again where we reflect over the past chapters of One Piece. Now, today, in the month of November. So we got 4 chapters to just reflect over and see how they stack up for this month compared to other months, and how the story is going in line with us getting closer and closer to 1,000 chapters of One Piece. So, let's go and get started. But first, let me acknowledge everyone who's here right now, both Six and Neil Johnson. Good to see you guys here today. So, going through the first chapter that we got in the month of November, in chapter 994, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. It wants to take its time loading. Chapter 994, My Other Name is Yamato. So on here, first we have like the cover final voyage of Capone's Oh My Family story, and that ushered in us not seeing that anymore. And then the subsequent chapters after that, we started to see like art requests from Oda once again. I feel like it's been so long since we've actually seen like cover page request art from Oda, ever since this whole Capone Oh My Family mini storyline was going on throughout this entire Wano arc. But moving on from there, the last chapter before chapter 994 ended with Kaido in his dragon form unleashing invisible air slashes, and in the process, Kiku lost her arm. And here it's showing all the beast powers, like, whoa, what's going on here? There's a lot going on here. Stuff is getting destroyed left and right. And everyone's telling all the, and Inuarashi's telling all the minks to get off of the roof. Then it shows Kinemon using his Foxfire style to ignite his sword, while Izo pulls up his sister's sleeve in order for Kinemon to use his sword to cauterize her arm, to seal it up. And it kind of speaks volumes about Kiku's ability to withstand pain, because I mean, how many people do you know can have their entire arm cauterized, not only cut off but cauterized in that same moment, well, in that same time frame, and then still be prepared to fight? Like, not many people. What's going on, D-Train? Not many people can say that they can have one of their limbs cut off and then have it forcibly cauterized and then continue to fight afterwards. That takes a lot of durability and pain tolerance. But Kinemon asks if Kiku's ready to fight, and Kiku says, of course. Then Kaido is saying, like, yes, that's it, that sense of determination. I love the way of the samurai. Now, Roger and Whitebeard, they did it right. It may not be the way of the times anymore, but death is what completes a person. And in saying that, Kaido leaves his dragon form and goes back to his human form. And he stays in that form the rest of this fight. Even though the fight is still technically going on past all these chapters, he stays in his human form. But you'll understand just truly how strong he is in the upcoming chapters between them. He says, but death is what completes a person, isn't that true? So let's end this now. And it shows Kaido just grinning ear to ear while he says this. Then Kinemon says, which arm did Kiku get cut off, her left or right? It was, in fact, her left arm. It was her left arm that got cut off. From the image of the panel itself, left arm. Lost a left arm. Which makes me wonder, but seeing as how her scabbard for her sword is on her left side, that would mean that she is predominantly right-handed, which means that she did not lose the arm that she mainly uses to, draw her sword with. So it kind of works out. It kind of reminds me of Shanks. Shanks lost his left arm as well, but his scabbard was on his right side. His scabbard was on his right side, which means that he was predominantly left-handed when wielding his sword. So now he has to use his right hand to draw from his right side, unless he changed it over the years. But thankfully, she did not lose her predominant sword hand, so that's good. But Kinemon says, "Don't be conceited, Kaido. There's no glory in losing to you." Then it cuts back to... Oh, good lord, I forgot about this chapter, because this is the Nightmare Fuel chapter. It cuts back to, okay, same arm that falls down to Zoro and Robin. I never thought to check until now. Yeah, it fell off, and then that's the same one that fell through the roof in the latest chapter, 997. But back inside the stronghold, we have Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy still running through in the first castle level, and they run into more headliners. One is called Fortrix, who uses a chicken smile fruit, in which Oda drew him in the most horrific position possible. And then we have Hamlet, a giraffe smile user, who's just overall weird. And Jinbei and Sanji and Jinbei are like, "Stop growing like that!" And they easily one-shot them. Even in the same page where they're introduced, they get one-shotted and knocked off to the side, while Sanji, Jinbei, and Luffy start running towards the direction that they need to go again. Then back on the performance floor, everyone is suffering because of the ice round, the playground's ice onis. And Queen is just enjoying all of this, just enjoying the mayhem as Samurai goes against Samurai, Beast Pirates goes against Beast Pirates. He was just firing all willy-nilly and not really caring who got shot where, just the mayhem that ensued. Then we have the Oniwabanshu facing off against Samurai and Beast Pirates who are being infected by the Ice Oni. Then we have Boss Hyogoro, where it shows Boss Omasa being infected, and Boss Omasa wants to commit seppuku in order to keep him from harming any of his comrades. An honorable way of thinking, but possibly not the best solution at this point in time. But Grandpa Hio says, but Omasa says, "I'm sorry, Boss Hyogoro. If I'm only going to harm my own people, then it's better to," and he's preparing to literally stab himself in the chest in order to keep him from harming his friends. Then Hyogoro says, "No, fool, you don't. No, you fool, don't. I don't want to be a monster. There must be a cure, and if there's no other way, I'll cut you down, but never end it yourself." And of course, we figure things out later. A certain doctor figures it out really, really fast. Then it shows Beast Pirates going Robin, Brook, and Chopper facing off against people who are infected by the Ice Oni. I can't whip up an antidote and administer it all to these Oni in the midst of battle. It's practically impossible. But unlike back in Udon, the mastermind behind the virus is right here. Whoever cultivates that virus must also have the antibodies. If we can just get those, then I can make a ton of medicine. And it had to be a lead performer. How many chapters did we have this month? Officially, from the Viz site, we have 4. So I'm going through chapters 994, 5, 6, and 7. So that's how many chapters we got. Do you think Wano has surpassed Marineford? As of right now, Coco, with the amount of information that was dumped on us and just given to us during this whole Wano arc, like, it's getting close. It has not surpassed Marineford yet. I have to agree with Karma. It has not surpassed it yet because we're still in the final battle. The final moments of Wano is really going to be where it is decided whether Wano has surpassed Marineford as the biggest war that One Piece has seen yet. But it remains to be seen. We still need to work our way through the whole Wano arc and see where things go from here. But as of right now, it's getting close. But it has not surpassed it yet. Even with all the information we learned, like how Kozuki Oden, the shogun, the supposed to be shogun of Wano, sailed not only with Whitebeard, but also with Roger, and was there on his final trips. He knows what Laugh Tale is. He knows what the One Piece is. Traveling through, leaving messages on poneglyphs, learning so many different things about the world that has still yet to be revealed to us, because there's so much in Oden's journal that I feel like that has not been explained that could very much shed a whole bunch of information on us. Because remember, Yamato has that journal, and we have not gone We have not addressed that in a very long time. We have not addressed the fact that Yamato has Oden's long-lost journal that no one else knew he had. So at some point, I feel like we may bring that subject back up in some point in the future. But as of right now, there's just a whole bunch going on with Onigashima and the war as a whole. But it still remains to be seen whether Wano is truly going to top Marineford or not. But it is getting dangerously close. Like, it's a very thin line of just how much they need to go before they start to surpass Marineford. But we still got more Wano to go through, so we'll still work on that. But Chopper is wondering about the antibodies for the Ice Oni, and I'm less worried about the way they're going out of control than I am about the after effects. It's increasing their ferocity and muscle mass while freezing the skin. The body just can't handle that kind of stress. And it shows Zoro beating down some members. What can we do to keep them down? What are they, zombies? But if we just abandon the infected, then they'll die. Oda did say Wano was going to make Marineford look like they were playing in a kid's playground. Yes, but that's why I said we're getting very dangerously close to Wano surpassing Marineford. But it's not there yet. But we still have a lot of Wano to go, so who knows how quickly that line is going to be surpassed in comparison to the progress of Marineford and all the events that transpired there. So I trust Oda when he says that Wano is going to surpass Marineford in terms of just how epic it is. Then I believe Oda, and we're going to be fine. So there's no worries about that. And Queen says, they'll die. If you get infected, you'll last an hour at best. Who's been turned into an Ice Oni? Your friend, your boss, your subordinate? And he's just laughing the evil scientist laugh. They might be as strong and lively as they've ever been in their lives. Make sure you hug them one last time before they go. Catch the fever. Don't miss it. He sounds... He sounds like, at the same time, a rave master. It's kind of weird, but he sounds like oh, come on, get down with the sickness. Like, seriously, something along those lines. But he's also kind of maniacal in, seeing people die thanks to his inventions or whatnot. But then we got Apu trying to bang on the door so he can get to where Queen is. And Apu says, another sick new weapon. That guy's a real piece of work. I'm getting off this floor. Open the door already. And then Apu gets tossed the antibodies by Queen. And then everyone literally eyeballs him. The samurai eyeball him because they want the antibodies. The beast pirates eyeball him because they want the antibodies. And they all start running after him. Apu just starts running after him. If you can play keep away for an hour, you win, Apu. They'll all be dead. So Queen literally just started a brand new game where the game is to catch Apu, or everyone dies in an hour. If you can play keep away for an hour, then everyone who's been infected by the Ice Oni will die. So Apu is now forcibly thrust into this game of keep away. Steal and kill, do whatever it takes. Then we're back at the Right Brain Tower inside the dome, where Sasaki is wondering why Yamato is trying to defend Shinobu and Momonosuke. Do you really think you can get away with them under your arms, young master? And Momonosuke is wondering who she is. Who are you? All we have to do is kill that boy and our mission is complete. I don't know who you are, and this is Shinobu saying this, but if you're on our side, please, I beg of you, save Lord Momonosuke. Then Yamato says, I'll save you too, Shinobu. I saw you 20 years ago at the execution of Oden. And it shows in a flashback in a small panel, Yamato as a young girl with the same mask that she wore when she first introduced herself to Luffy, way back when, 20 years ago, during the execution of Oden. The Hour of Legends. She was there seeing the whole thing. And then then Yamato's remembering back to the words that Shinobu said way back when Oden was being executed. So tell me again, who are you calling a fool of a lord? Saying that your words brought me to my tears. Your words brought tears to my eyes. Sorry, your words brought tears to my eyes. The life of Kozuki Oden brought tears to my eyes. And in that instance, she's hit from behind by an explosion, shot by members of the defense of Sasaki's armored division. Of course, she shakes this off and stands back up again. Momonosuke, on that terrible day, I ran to Kuri to save your life. Huh? How? How are you fine? But I'm sorry, all I could do was watch as Kaido dangled you over the edge. So, this also means that during the whole instance when Oden was executed, and it was the Hour of Legends, still a young girl, uh, Yamato tried her best to get to Kuri and save Momonosuke, but when she got there, she saw her dad Kaido holding Momonosuke out the edge of Oden Castle way back when. So it just shows you how adamant and how much she admired the Kozuki family for her to go out of her way to get there. Did Ace die? Quick question. How much of One Piece do you know? This is kind of old knowledge for those of us who do know, but how much of One Piece do you know, Jonas? Just I'm not even trying to be smart here. How much of One Piece do you know? Is this your first time getting into One Piece? Because this is kind of common knowledge a little bit. But Yamato is stating, all I could do was watch as Kaido dangled you over the edge. And she winds up her Kanabo. Back then, I didn't have the strength. And in that instance, she hits one of the members of the armor divisions and sends him flying back. But she's not even close to hit him. And what I did was I looked up Yamato's page, and it turns out that she's able to propel armament Haki outwards as a projectile and hit people with it. Basically, kind of like Ryuo. You use armament Haki, but in the way that Grandpa Hio and the way that Luffy's trying to learn, without actually touching anything. So she's able to swing using armament Haki and using Ryuo, and is able to propel projectiles at her enemies without actually having to touch them. Why is so dark in your dark room? It's so dark in my dark room because no light outside for me to have light in my dark room. That's why it's so dark in my dark room. Because it's very gloomy outside. Finish your schoolwork and now I can focus on the stream. Hey man, focus on your school stuff first. Don't let me distract you. Because it is very easy to do that. But she uses Ryuo and hits one of the members of the armored division from a long distance and sends him flying into a nearby wall. And Momonosuke's wondering, who are you? I used your father's name earlier, but my other name is Yamato and I would die for you. And she just proclaims that she's here to protect both Momonosuke and Shinobu. So that's chapter 994. Now going into 995, Kunoichi's Oath. We get the cover arts again, and it shows Big Mom clashing with Marco. Just Marco clashing with Big Mom. She's trying to use Prometheus on Marco, but her flames of Prometheus isn't doing anything to him. And she says, Marco, I may not know what my role here... stay out of this, Marco. And Marco says, I may not know what my role here is yet, but I know better than any of them the kind of danger you pose. So Marco is there in the front of Onigashima to keep Big Mom from interfering. And as she's trying to, kind of off topic, but I wonder who's going to voice Whitebeard in the flashback since the original passed away some time back. That's actually a very good question, because they got the voice actor for Crocodile to voice Whitebeard in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, I would not be surprised if they try to have that same voice actor voice Whitebeard in the flashbacks. Because when Kizaru's original voice actor passed away, they now have the voice of Kaku's voice actor. They now have Kaku's voice actor voicing Kizaru from here on in. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that if they got the guy who voiced Crocodile and he also voiced Whitebeard in the game, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to have that same person voice Whitebeard in these flashbacks. So I kind of feel like they may go that route again. I don't know. The original voice actor of Kizaru and Whitebeard had very, very unique voices that it may be hard to, try and match and duplicate. But given the way they did it for the game, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that same thing. But Big Mom is trying to contend with trying to contend with Marco, but Marco's holding her back just a little bit. And Big Mom's kind of wondering, like, Prometheus? Why am I losing to mere flames? Phoenix flames have special properties. And that's all we get from that sentence. The fact that regular flames cannot hurt or even dissipate or even overpower Marco's flames just kind of speaks on the uniqueness of his Zoan's special abilities. Now, the only thing that was able to kind of, contend with him on an even ground was Akainu's magma. And the one thing that comes with Akainu's magma is the fact that it is a superior form of fire compared to, like, I don't know, that of Ace's Marimero no Mi. And it also carries concussive force as well. So with those two properties in there, it's kind of an even match for Marco's Phoenix Flames. But even then, we still don't know the extent of why Marco's Phoenix Flames are able to repel stuff, but it's not like regular flames where it can actually harm other people. It can heal, but it can't harm anyone. Why are snails phones? That has yet to be explained, but it's yet to be explained how people are able to use snails as, video cameras and communication devices and wiretaps and security cameras. It is yet to be fully explained why Den Den Mushis are capable of being, today's equivalent of communication devices. It's still yet to be explained on that. But Big Mom is fighting Marco, and it shows Pero trying to take aim at Marco when Big Mom gets him in a chokehold, hoping that Pero can kill Marco. But out of nowhere, we get both the Sulong form of both Carrot and Wanda using a Moon Raid on Petal's face, knocking him off the little plateau he was standing on, trying to get like a good aim at Marco. And they both slash him across the face and pretty much put him out of commission of the fight. And then we see Wanda and Carrot standing there in their Sulong form. Wanda standing like she's a member of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with that pose of hers. With Wanda saying he's the one who killed Pedro. That's right, if it weren't for him, then Pedro tries to say that idiot blew himself up. You're taking it out on the wrong man, but he wouldn't have had to blow himself up if you weren't trying to kill his friends. So it's your fault for making Pedro be in that situation that would cause him to try and sacrifice himself in order to, make sure the Straw Hats and everyone else got away freely. So it is in fact Pedro's fault that he's currently in the situation that he is in, and it's his fault that Pedro died. So him trying to, throw all the blame on Pedro for, simply trying to sacrifice himself to save his friends, it's backwards. We all know that it's Pedro's fault. But we know that Pedro's death brought us to this battle happening right now. And then it shows a flashback of Pedro when he says, keep moving. And Marco's wondering, who are you? You must be Marco, a friend of Nekomamushi, yes? Yeah, you could say that. And in the midst of this conversation between Carrot and Marco, Big Mom slips away and just makes a beeline for the inside of Onigashima. Right back to the performance floor again. I don't have time for your little personal squabbles. Don't bring them up here on this battlefield. You hash them out. Look, Marco, if you want to kill me, you'll have to do it another time. I don't have the soul weapons to spare on you now. And she just speeds off with both Prometheus and Zeus. And it should be noted that Prometheus and Zeus are not in large where she just can selectively ride on one or the other. They're both like really small, and she's riding on both of them like 2 seat cushions as she's making her way out. So it stands to believe that Zeus and Prometheus are not in their current powerful states in order to, her to just ride them one thing. Great explanation about the Peros thing. Hey, it's very easy for people to say like, hey, this is your fault for being put in this situation or stuff like that, but then they don't understand that by them actually being a part of that situation and some of the machinations of stuff that they've done, that they're also accomplices to this as well. Like I said, if it wasn't for sorry, I was looking at the delivery trucks heading outside. But if it wasn't for Perospero sealing the Thousand Sunny in solid candy, keeping them from escaping, then Pedro wouldn't have come to the idea that the only way to get out would be to sacrifice himself to make sure everyone got out, in the hopes of taking out Peros as well. So if it wasn't for Perospero going out of his way to make sure that he could try and kill the Straw Hats, Pedro wouldn't have had to do what he had to in order to free them. So it is, in fact, Peros' fault that he's in the situation that he's in. Getting slashed across the face, missing an entire arm. And actually, you know what? I'm just now noticing something in this panel. In the panel... Hey, Ezekiel. Hey, CJ. What's going on? In this panel where it shows Perospero creating... I don't know if it's just me. It might just be his sleeve. I actually thought that there was like an anime. I thought there was like a drawing mistake where it shows him still having his arm back, but it could just be that it's out of frame. Because technically that whole arm is supposed to be made of candy. But that might have just been the way it was drawn in this one instance. But Big Mom makes her way back to the performance floor, and then we're back to Zoro chasing after Apu, because you know the whole life or death keep away game is still going on. And then Apu is using his Devil Fruit abilities to keep people from catching up to him. But the people who managed to survive this surprise attack are the people who managed to survive this attack from Apu are Zoro and Drake. And they both make a beeline for Apu, and he takes out two Tonfas. So he has Apu can use Tonfas to fight. And while they're fighting, Drake goes into his Zoan form as they keep trying to take down Apu. Sometimes there's drawing mistakes in the week 2 weeks that get cleaned up for the Tankoban. That I can understand. Joy Boy believes Carrot's anger is misplaced, I believe. I don't see how. She literally grew up in the Minx. She literally grew up wanting to be a musketeer or a high guard, and she trained under Pedro. And back when Pedro was like really young, he met Roger, and Roger told him a set of words that Pedro told Carrot. So Carrot has both a lot of admiration and respect for Pedro, and she's literally spent a vast majority of her life looking up to him and training to be strong and following his example. So losing someone like that, them being angry, and then seeing the person who's responsible for ending the person you've cared about pretty much the majority of your life and seen as like a big brother, that anger is completely founded. That's my opinion. Like, say, for example, you have a sibling who's there the entirety of your life. They encourage you, they respect you, and they care about you, and they look out for your well-being. And you want to follow their example, for example. And something happens to them, and you know the person who is responsible, and you have a chance to, and not saying that I condone this in any way. Like, say, for example, it's in a story, like a story, more like, let me just say it's in a story sense, and you see this person, and not only that, but your sibling then sacrifices themselves to make sure that you're safe, and they try to take out the person who's trying to harm you, but that person survives, and the sibling that you've cared for all this time is now gone because of this person. This person then spits on this person's name, talks about how dumb they are, calls them idiot, calls them names. Anger is completely founded when it comes to it being geared towards an individual who's disrespecting the memory of a person that you hold dear. Anger is completely founded. That's just my opinion on that. But Apu is fighting both Drake and Zoro, and Queen is wondering like, curse you, Drake. The moment we exposed your ruse, you showed your true hide. And that other guy's Roronoa Zoro, huh? Always best to take out the number 2s and 3s quickly. And they got Judge's son among their group too. Vinsmoke Judge. And here's just a name drop in the way that Queen says it, leads one to believe that either Queen has either interacted with the Vinsmokes before, or he knows of the Vinsmoke family. Part of me believes that since Queen is like an inventor, and in a way he could be seen as like a mad scientist of types, he knows of people who kind of operate in a similar fashion. So, it would lead me to believe that he knows of Vinsmoke Judge because, the entire Germa organization is just made up of mad scientists. Like, literally, they have cloning. Sith secrets only the Sith knew. Not really, because, Kaminoans exist, but then the sequel trilogy kind of forgot about that. Wow. I never noticed how the sequel trilogy of Star Wars kind of pulled a Game of Thrones D&D interview when it says like, well, everyone in Star Wars kind of forgotten that the Kaminoans were the ones who knew about cloning, but we just decided to subvert expectations and make it so that Sith only knew how to do that. But I would like to believe that Queen knows of Germa and the Vinsmokes because of how in line of being mad scientists-ish they are. That's why I feel like he knows that name. So either he knows Judge and maybe worked with him, or he knows of him through the grapevine because of their similar tactics for scientific endeavors. That's just how I feel. But going through here, we have Chopper saying, I thought I was going to turn to an Oni, but look at me, I'm just fine. Yeah, that's good. It's because you don't have any skin or blood or warmth. You're basically a corpse to begin with. That's rather shocking, but it means I'm invincible. The virus spreads because the body gets chilled, but is that possible from the inside? Could it be that this virus is... And then in an instant, we notice that Chopper has been infected by the Ice Oni. By the Ice Oni rounds. So then we'll get into how this is resolved later. And we cut to Usopp and Nami fighting Ulti in page 1, where Usopp is using his green stars to take on Ulti, but page 1 is coming in and making sure that the green stars can't do too much. And then then Usopp is using all of his repertoire, all of his best shots, like Bamboo Javelin, Green Star Devil, all these different attacks, but Ulti, avoids all of this along with page 1, and she hits Usopp full force with a Ulti Mortar, and the damage is very substantial. The damage is very substantial because it shows an X-ray shot of Usopp's head cracking, literally his forehead cracking. It's noteworthy because here's one thing about Usopp that I thought about for a long time until it kind of dawned on me from this panel. When it shows Usopp's skull cracking, there's no bones in his nose, so it's really just, whenever you see Usopp's nose get broken or anything, there's literally nothing in it. Because in this panel, it doesn't show any bones in his nose, so his nose is literally just a super, super extended piece of flesh. So whenever it looks like it's broken, it's literally just... There's literally nothing in there whatsoever. I find that funny because how often it looks like it's broken and bent in different places permanently and they bandage him up everything. Is there really any way to kill Brook? If not, he really is invincible and immortal. He can have broken bones. I don't think we've ever seen a moment where one of his limbs gets completely destroyed, because we've seen him suffer damage, we see him get cracks over his body, and cracks in his bones and missing teeth, but we've never seen him actually have a destroyed limb, because he can just fully heal his bones just by drinking milk. But it has never been shown what would happen if one of his limbs gets completely destroyed. Can he actually heal that broken bone? Even if it's shattered, for example. I think that might be the only weakness towards him. There has to be a limitation to how much he can heal using milk, or how much he can sustain before a limb of his is permanently destroyed. Like Karma says, maybe you can crush his skull. That might be the key to keeping Brook down. But it has never been shown for Brook to be in a situation where one of his limbs is either, completely broken. I don't say cut off, because he can literally just use his soul to pull his limbs back together again. I mean, he was decapitated during the Fishman Island arc, and he used his soul to, pull his head back onto his shoulders. So it can't just be slicing limbs off. It literally has to be broken bones in order for us to see the extent of how strong his regeneration truly is. But Ulti uses Ulti Mortar on Usopp's head, and he's knocked down, and it shows Nami bloodied and beaten, and Ulti trying to go in for the kill, demanding that she say that Luffy will never be the king of the pirates. And Nami shows her true colors as that of a full-on supporter of her captain. Too long didn't read version of that. She shows just how much faith she has in her captain by saying that Luffy will never stop until he's king of the pirates. Ulti wanted her to say Luffy will never be king of the pirates, but Nami, correctly subverts expectations and says Luffy will never stop until he's king of the pirates, still having faith in her captain. And in an instance, in a moment that many of us joked about months and months ago, back when we were still in the early stages of Wano, many of us joked of this moment that happens, but it shows Tama, along with Komachiyo, coming in and saving Nami. I said this during the reaction to this chapter of how much we joked about this actually happening with Tama showing up on Onigashima of all places, and it literally happens. It's crazy how much of a coincidence that is. Literally called that. Even as a joke, we literally called that months ago. I wonder if anyone else kind of came up with that crazy theory, but Komachiyo just chomps down on Ulti as Tama comes in to save Nami. So, onwards to chapter 996, we're gonna move through these relatively quickly. I don't want to keep you guys too long during this entire thing, because I tend to drone on and get distracted and monologue a whole lot. In chapter 996, Island of the Strongest, we got a cover page request that shows Blackbeard, and a cover page request that I don't think we've seen since ever. Brushing his teeth alongside a hippo, and they're both common in the fact that they have many misplaced teeth, missing and misplaced teeth throughout their entire mouth. But it shows Tama in there with Nami and Usopp, and she picks up both Nami and Usopp on the back of Komachiyo, and they both start running off while Page 1 runs after them. But before that happens, where is this? Oh, yeah, there it is. His name is Hihimaru. I was trying to find his name. It was in my mind. I was trying to find out where it said his name here. But Hihimaru, the giant baboon that we know from the beginning of Wano that was, chasing after Komachiyo and Tama beforehand, he comes in and he starts to clash against Page 1 while Komachiyo and the rest of the gang just make their way off. And Nami's wondering, what's going on here? Where in the world did you come from? Keep them at bay for 3 minutes. Keep them at bay for 3 minutes. Why is it specifically 3 minutes? I never took note of this. But now I'm wondering, why specifically keep them at bay for 3 minutes? Is that how much time she wants to try and get away from them? Where in the world did you come from? But they're ferocious. That giant monkey's in trouble. Don't belittle his power, Onami. We came here as samurai. And then it cuts to Yamato pretty much just wrecking all of the armored division members because she's that strong. All the shields that they were hoping to defend themselves with from Yamato, they are easily broken by her level of strength because Yamato is monstrously strong. And she just effortlessly destroys their shields. You'll never finish all of us, young master. And she gets hit with another round because she's surrounded by these division members with shields and cannons, and they all firing on her all at once. But she still stands up. You there, if you're a samurai, make up your mind. Abandon me and save Lord Momonosuke. And then Yamato says Kozuki Oden would never do that because of how much she truly admires Kozuki Oden. Why, you stubborn. And then Sasaki, who's still watching all this going on, prepares to draw his sword as he prepares to fight Yamato, saying, if you think you can protect dead weight and still defeat me, I take that as an insult, Master Yamato. I can't go losing my superb armored division. You've really made a mess of things here. And as he draws his sword, she says Sasaki, and her teeth turn sharp, which leads many of us to believe that she is in fact a Zoan user. Because what other reason would she have of being able to cause her teeth to turn into fangs? Now, of course, we don't see the full effect of this. It's just that her teeth turn sharp, and that's where it ends. We don't see this in this chapter or the last chapter that we got this month as well. But it leads many of us, including myself, to believe that she has an unidentified Zoan devil fruit power. We don't know what extent it goes to. We don't even know what it is. Some people are saying that it might be a T-Rex. And some people tried to point out to me the way that her hands look when Luffy was trying to take her cuffs off. I didn't notice anything because it was just a regular hand. But some people have speculated that it could possibly be a T-Rex Zoan fruit. A lot of people are still saying that with Kaido, there's a lot of theories going on around for what Kaido is, and by extension, what Yamato could possibly be as well. A lot of people seem to say that Kaido is an Oni, or Kaido is a dragon, and he can turn into a human. So by extension, that would mean that Yamato could be the same and do the same. But this has yet to be confirmed, and those are, as you know, just theories that are just still up in the air. Did he just say dead weight? Yeah, he said dead weight, and that was enough to anger her to the point of her teeth turning into fangs. But we don't see any other part of her transform, because Franky runs in with General Franky with Hacha running in here. Just running in here, chasing after Franky. And in that same instance, what was that? Was that my phone? Yeah, that was my phone. In that same instance, Hacha slams into the ground, creating a giant hole. And it is a massive hole of which Shinobu and Momonosuke and Yamato escape through. What if Yamato is an Oni? Why does she have horns? That's a very good question. We don't know what Kaido is. He's called the strongest creature, but it is yet to be fully confirmed just what type of individual he is. He's called the strongest creature, but it has never been fully stated what he is. That's the thing, though. It's just, there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of theories of, well, Kaido could be an Oni. Kaido could be an ogre. Or Kaido could be a dragon who can also transform into a human individual. Specifically dragon. Not a human that can turn into a dragon, but a dragon that can turn into a human. There's a lot of theories, so we don't really know what Kaido is. We do know that he's had those same horns since way back when he was with the Rocks Pirates. And why does she have horns? I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know if the horns are a headpiece just to make him look scary, or are they actually a part of his body? The same could be said of Yamato as well. We don't know if those are her horns, or if it's just a headset on her head. A lot of people, and I believe that it's just a part of her body as well, but until it's confirmed just what she and Kaido are, then it's just up in the air at the moment until Oda comes out and says that, hey, Kaido is an Oni. Hey, Kaido is a monster who can also be a human. So it's just, the theories are literally just hovering above the line of, okay, it's official now. That's where it is right now. And a lot of people have made a lot of concrete, sound evidence of what Kaido and Yamato could be. But until Oda says otherwise, they'll just remain as that, theories. So until Oda says otherwise, we just don't know what Kaido is. But Hacha busts a hole in the floor, and Yamato, Momonosuke, and Shinobu escape through it while they're falling through the air. Using armament haki and Ryuo, again, she basically shoots haki, like kind of tangible haki, up into the chin of Hacha and completely one-shots him. Just using haki, she just backhands it into his body, into his chin, knocking him out completely. And it's hard enough for not only to close his mouth, but also draw blood from him. So Hacha is completely knocked out. And this attack is called Nari Kabura Arrow. So, if I actually pull this up, Yamato, if I pull this up, and I go down to her physical capabilities, so the attacks that she can do is the same move as her father, except it's with far less strength, but it's called Nari Kabura Arrow. Nari Kabura. Swinging the Kanabo upward, Yamato unleashes a vertical energy projectile to hit opponents from below with great force. It was first used against Hacha and immediately knocked him unconscious upon striking him in the head. Nari Kabura is another term for Kabura Ya, turnip-headed arrows used by samurai who made a whistling sound when fired. It's called Nari Kabura Arrow in the Viz translation. So, it just shows that she is capable of using armament haki and the fact that she can use haki, even here, with this description of her ability to use armament haki, it says, Yamato is a user of Busoshoku no Haki, armament haki, or color of arms, as evidenced by them imbuing their hand and Kanabo with it while preparing to attack Hacha, resulting in a lightning-like effect. Yamato can use this haki to an advanced degree, being capable of projecting it a great distance forward and hitting faraway opponents with tremendous force with a simple swing. So this is an advanced form of armament haki where it just goes beyond just coating your body in, super protective armor and also increasing one's physical strength output. She's shown that there's even more degrees to armament haki aside from Ryuo, to that now armament haki can pretty much just straight up be used as a projectile. Literally turning her Kanabo into a giant metal bat and using her monstrous strength can turn haki into literal projectiles that can hit with tremendous force. Just another example of multiple applications of haki showing advanced versions beyond that which we originally thought it could go up to. Because remember, way back when, armament haki was just being able to injure devil fruit users. Then it got to the point where it can overpower people who have weaker haki than you. Then it can even be extended, in Luffy's case, to also allow his body to be covered in super tough armor, but also keep his elasticity of his body. Then we see it being able to, shield people from things, such as when the three animals in Marineford combined their armament haki into a shield that kept Whitebeard's quake powers from actually hitting the platform. Then we see Ryuo, which is capable of affecting things on the inside and destroying them completely, which is what Rayleigh can do, such as being able to use an advanced form of armament haki that can just completely destroy things that should not be destroyed so easily. And not only that, now we have it so that armament haki can now be used as full-on projectiles now. And this is armament haki. We've already seen advanced forms of observation haki, such as seeing far into the future, as is the case with Katakuri and Luffy, and for all intents and purposes, possibly Rayleigh as well. And now the only thing left to see what an advanced form of haki can do is in the Conqueror's range. Because this whole Wano arc has just been showing just how extensive haki can really go. Even back when Roger and Whitebeard clashed with each other in their final fight, their armament haki was so powerful and so potent that they were able to clash with their weapons without their weapons actually touching one another. That's how thick and how powerful their armament haki was in comparison to people that we've seen. They literally could not touch one another because the amount of force and pressure caused by their armament haki. That's just how far Armament Haki goes, but we still have Conqueror's Haki to see just how far that can go. I honestly believe that there's a higher form than that. But that going back to the story, she uses Narikabura Arrow, and it shoots right into Hachi's face and knocks him out completely and takes him down. Lots of similarities between Kaido, Yamato, and other characters with horns, such as Avalo, Pizarro, Oars, and Oars Juniors, and even Mordia. Yeah. But actually, I feel like with Mordia, it's really just an extension of his weird head. I wouldn't call it like horns that are comparable to that of Kaido, Yamato, and Oars. His is just like, just little protrusions. Doesn't Sentomaru have the same haki as Rayleigh? Yes, Sentomaru can use that same type of armament haki without actually touching anyone. That Ashigara Dokoi. He can use that as well. Pizarro's horns don't look like they grow naturally. They look attached. Oars and Oars Juniors were from the ancient giant race. Didn't we see the Amazon do that? They are able to imbue their arrows with haki, but not necessarily make it so that they can just shoot arrows completely made of haki. They can imbue their arrows with haki, but not necessarily just use haki as a full-on projectile. They can imbue things, but not use haki as a projectile. That's the difference. Very similar, they coated their weapons and other weapons with haki. Yeah, just like CJ just said. Sorry, I didn't read that part. My apologies. But Kaido's flashback will give us all the tea. Kaido's flashback is literally going to be I would not mind if it's just nothing but exposition when it comes to Kaido's flashback, like how he was growing up. How did he become so strong? How did he become borderline almost invincible until this arc started? It's funny how people never get injured until they run into the Straw Hats. The only person to walk out of it completely unscathed with their interactions with the Straw Hats was Hancock and Mihawk. Doflamingo, he was thought to be untouchable until the Dressrosa arc. Then he got bodied by Luffy. Then we have yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for everybody. But it's funny how these people that we know to be truly invincible, they suddenly get injured, and now we're all like, okay, so what was the difference between back then and now? But that's going forward. Going forward, it shows Yamato still holding Shinobu and Momonosuke. She literally has no trouble running with the both of them through the hole in the roof. You must survive. It is imperative that you survive. You are the one who must guide the world to the dawn. And down in the second basement floor, we have Law taking down some fruit users, thinking back on Rocinante's words. The people of the D are known as the enemies of the gods. My true name is Trafalgar D. Water Law. Your alias? That's right. So here we have Law walking up to a poneglyph, and that beast pirate had to be pretty big because in comparison to his size, that dude is just massive. But he pretty much takes out everyone walking in front of a poneglyph. It's not the road poneglyph, but he walks in front of it. And thinking back to Rocinante's words, and also having a flashback where Law literally reveals that he's a D to Robin, of all people, saying, and she says, I'm stunned, you have the name of D as well. You're the only one I would tell this. Thank you for your trust, but I don't have the answers for you. Luffy may not care, but I find the D name to be fascinating. So the only way is to follow the red stones? Yes, and that means beating the 4 emperors. Not that they'll make it easy. So, after thinking back to what he was telling Robin, and then thinking back to the words of Rocinante, he says, hey Korra, I've made up my mind. I want to know the meaning of this checkered fate. Which means that Law wants to find out the history of D. The will of D. Why is it that people with the initial D have such a checkered, tragedy-laden past? So Law, a lot of people thought that Law was probably going to die this arc, but with him making this resolution, it means that he's more than likely not going to give up his life so easily. Some people thought that he's going to give up his life in order to save Luffy, but I don't see that happening due to him wanting to live and try and find out, well, actually, that's only an extension of, somewhere down the line. So we don't know if that's still going to be the case, or if he just resolves that he wants to live and find out why the initial D has such a checkered past, why it is such an influential, that singular letter, the initial D, has enough power in the entire world of One Piece to cause everyone who knows of it, who knows the meaning of it, who know people who have it, to immediately take notice to this question and immediately get apprehensive. So I feel like with all the big mysteries of One Piece that we see in One Piece, the initial D has to be one of the biggest enigmatic mysteries of the entire series. A literal initial that causes fear in those who oppose it, and that causes concern from those who know of it, and for people who don't know what it is, some people could care less. Some people are wondering what it means. So I feel like the will of D is just more than just a simple will. There is something about the initial D that is linked to certain groups of people who are fated to do certain things. Because if you notice, every single person who has D in their names have done actions that have caused massive upheavals in the world in terms of what they've done. For example, Jaguar D. Saul, he saved the last remaining member of the Ohara Islands, and literally the only person who can actually translate and understand poneglyphs, the very thing that the world government has tried to keep under wraps, and even went as far as destroying the entire island and the entire civilization of the citizens of Ohara, save for Robin. She's now alive because of the interference of a D. Then we have Roger, a D, literally became the king of the pirates, the literal biggest name in all of the One Piece world. Traveled all throughout the world, saw everything that the world had to offer, even stuff that the government didn't want anyone to know. They even know about the history of the world, though, in Rayleigh's own words, they weren't scholars, so they couldn't really translate it to their best of ability. So they were just pirates. Every single D has caused something that has caused the world to change in some shape or fashion. Saul saving Robin, allowing one member of the only member of people who can translate poneglyphs to survive. Roger pretty much conquered the entire world and discovered the history of the world, opposed the world government, and even discovered the One Piece and everything it entails. Ace being the son of the king of the pirates, and his death, and not only his life, but also his death leading into a new age of piracy, causing one of the biggest wars the world government has ever seen, causing Whitebeard to fight the world government. A lot of people lost their lives, and also with Whitebeard knowing that the One Piece is real, literally something that the world government wanted to encourage people to not believe in, proclaiming that to the world, all because of the war with Ace. It led to that moment where Whitebeard proclaims that the One Piece is real, further reigniting the age of piracy. Then you have Marshall D. Teach coming in and showing the world that a person can have not one but two devil fruits, a concept that was never heard of, usurping all of Whitebeard's position, becoming a Yonko, and then hunting down other people with powers, and literally taking quite possibly the most powerful Paramecia-type devil fruit known in existence for himself, along with the Yami Yami no Mi, proclaiming that this is now his era, causing an even newer age of piracy, the age of the Yonkos, the age of Blackbeard, to begin. Then you have Law, who holds literally what is called the ultimate devil fruit, because of its very unique properties of being able to grant someone immortality. Then you have Luffy, a person that no matter what happens has managed to survive every single encounter that has happened to him, has managed to beat people that are said to be unbeatable, has pretty much has pretty much surpassed every single expectations linked to his name, and every attempt to stop him has failed. Who else? Then we have Eustace. Well, no, Eustace is not a D. Sorry, I got him mixed up with him just having Conqueror's Haki. And let's not forget Dragon, the most dangerous man in the world. There's some other Ds, but I'm missing them. The most dangerous man in the world. The world's most wanted criminal. The leader of the revolutionary armies. The literal enemies of the world government and the celestial dragons themselves. With his intent and purposes being wanting to pretty much get rid and overthrow not only the celestial dragons, but also the world government as well, and free the world from their tyranny. Every single time a D has shown up in history is either a person of incredible influence or a person who does something so outlandishly outrageous that the world cannot help but take notice, and it changes the world, for good or bad. So for Law to go out of his way to want to discover the history, of what the D means, it just opens up a whole bunch of questions, because, like I said, with Vegapunk, the concepts of devil fruits and how they work, and D and what the One Piece is, and the Void Sentry, and M-Sama, there's just so many mysteries in One Piece, but the initial D has got to be one of the most single theorized and hypothesized mysteries in all of One Piece. But going back to the chapter, I went off on a full tangent there, but that's just my thoughts on the matter. Once we get to the point where we finally learn what it is, a lot of people are either going to be really upset, because it is literally, how many years? 20 years of One Piece? 20 years? I want to say 20, 21 years of One Piece. Over 20 years of One Piece. And theories about what the initial D could possibly mean. A lot of people are going to be upset if it is not what they theorized after years. A lot of people are going to be upset, and a lot of us are going to be surprised. I know for a fact that I have absolutely no expectations of what the initial D could possibly mean and what it truly means for the world of One Piece at large, so I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. So when Law says he wants to know the meaning of this checkered fate, it just means that he's going to start looking into the history of D now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we learn some more D-related backstories coming through then. But on the third floor, we are still going through this. We only have one more chapter, and then I'll call it quits for today. I'm not going to keep you guys too long, he says, as it literally just goes into an hour. But it shows Kid running with Killer as he's grabbing as many pieces of metal as he can, and he's just dragging. It is literally a giant mound of metal just being dragged along with Kid as they try to make their way to the roof. He's dragging along all the scrap metal in the castle. Stop him! Don't let him reach the roof! Do you think we got enough, Killer? And Killer's laughing because, you know, he's still under the effects, the permanent effects of a smile fruit. Good question. And there's Killer! Our enemy is the world's strongest pirate. You can't have too much. Good answer. And then it cuts to the roof of the Skull Dome, where Kaido is literally beating up everyone. He's smacking away Kinemon. He's smashing into everybody. More delivery trucks. He's smashing into everyone. Denjiro tries to stab him into the side, but he proceeds to beat everyone down. Everyone is bloodied and beaten. We got Kawamatsu and what appears to be either Nekomamushi, Inoarashi, or Shuten Maru standing up against him in shadows. But Kaido is fit as a fiddle, and he's prepared to, you know, kind of kill all of them. Because Raizo's bloodied and beaten. Kinemon is bloodied. Denjiro's on the ground. Kaido is... all the damage that Kaido suffered, it is not enough to actually keep him down. Even the cut... because I'm noticing in this panel that his cut that they actually cut into and drew blood from, it's not bleeding anymore. There's no blood coming from that scar that all the scabbards cut into. There's no longer any blood in that spot anymore. It's clean, it's dry, and now he's just going out of his way to smash and beat up all of the scabbards. And then it shows Big Mom coming into the performance floor, and everyone just gets surprised as she flies in, but she's saying, "Don't worry, I'm only interested in going up top where Kaido is." So she pretty much just surpasses everyone and just goes straight to the roof. Back in the middle of the second floor, Luffy, Sanji, and Jinbei are running up the stairs where Sanji hears a voice saying, "Come, my dear, that's it." "But my lord, you mustn't, it would be so naughty." And that immediately draws out the simp in Sanji. Because going into the final chapter that we got for November, come on now, you can go ahead and pull up this page, called Chapter 997, Flames. He spies the shadows of a woman being unraveled from her robes, as it would appear, but when he tries to go in and save this person, thinking that she's being harassed in some way, it turns out that it's actually a trap and he's caught in a spider web by 2 members of Black Maria's group. And he immediately gets caught and he gets beaten up as well, and he's brought right in front of Black Maria now. "What a bore, you want to turn our banquet hall into a battlefield? Well, I happen to have a soft spot for boys with rough edges," Kaido reference. "What do you say, do you like me too?" "Boy, don't insult me, untie me, you want the truth is I love you!" So, Sanji, even though he has more important things to be doing right now, he simps after Black Maria. Should we even be surprised? This is Sanji. Unless it is incredible. A lot of people are saying that this could be the moment where Sanji starts to grow as a person so that he doesn't fall prey to something like this so easily. But honestly, I don't know. It just feels like he's just falling prey to his usual Vinsmoke weaknesses again. And Luffy and Jinbei are running, and Luffy says, "Where did Sanji go?" "I don't know. He rushed off with a ferocious look in his eye." And then we see more headliners. Headliner Animal, Headliner, Beast Pirates, Mizurka, Gorilla Smile Fruit. Quick question, how do you feel about the One Piece community growing with so many YouTubers reacting to the anime like Super Mecha Frieza, Hebo 3HD, Uzumaki Khan! Oh, I love that guy, he's awesome, and etc. How do I feel about it? The more people who get into One Piece, the better. Now, the thing I will say about the community is there are a group of people that can take it a bit too seriously. Like, as much as I love One Piece, and I really do love One Piece, I'm not going to take it so seriously to the point where I'm just like, manga gating people. For people who are not into One Piece or people who ask questions about One Piece are like, "What? You don't know about One Piece? How could you not even know about One Piece? If you don't know about One Piece, if you haven't seen all 990, if you haven't seen all 952 current episodes right now, then don't even talk to me." There are people who are actually like that in the community. So avoid those people, but when it comes to people who are very passionate, genuinely passionate, and, are welcoming to people who want to get into One Piece and understand it, then hey, more power to them, and I welcome more people like that. Like, even myself. I wasn't like big on One Piece for a while. Like, I checked it out on occasion, but then I started reading more and more into it, and then I started to understand it, and I started to really truly appreciate it and understand why people loved it so much. So for me, it's like, wow, this is what people are into? I like this. And there's more people who like it just like me? That's awesome. That's how I feel on it. It's awesome. More people who are into One Piece are more people we get to talk to this about. I welcome more people to the world of One Piece. That's just my opinion on it. But we get introduced to Headliner Mizurka, a Gorilla Smile Fruit user, and Poker, a Rattlesnake Smile Fruit user. I feel like Oda hates Sanji the same way Toriyama hates Vegeta. What about I'm D King? Never heard of him. I don't think I've ever heard of him. All these other people like Super Mecha Frieza, Hebo, and Uzumaki Khan, I don't think I've heard of them, but I've never heard of MD King before. But we get introduced to these headliners, and they're waiting for Luffy and them to get to the stairs so they can stop them. They're literally sitting on the stairs, but before Luffy and the rest of them can even get to the stairs, the samurai create a makeshift ladder for them to climb through, and they just go up the ladder instead rather than knocking aside those headliners. So now Poker and Berserker are left without anyone to fight. But back on the performance floor inside the dome, Zoro notices that, hey, Big Mom's heading up to the roof. Thank goodness that hag is leaving. I thought she was going to wreak havoc. Then something falls through the roof, and it is and the way this panel is, it's incredibly small, which just shows you that the entire place of Onigashima is absolutely massive, because what falls through the roof is incredibly small, that is literally drawn the size of almost the size of an actual sentence period. That's how small it is falling through the roof. And Zoro notices this, which just goes to show you that the scale of Onigashima is just absolutely massive. But Zoro notices this, and it falls to the ground. That way, after Apu, grab the antibodies! Then Omasa is still in his Ice Oni state, and people are trying to keep him from killing anyone, and then it shows Chopper running off to the side with Brook wondering where he's going. Everyone's fighting Ice Oni against people who could be Ice Onis. Queen is laughing maniacally, and Ice Oni comes up to Zoro, and Zoro easily slashes off to the side. Drake is facing off against Apu. And then, in an instance, without even saying a word, in a massive EI strike, Zoro pretty much cuts up Apu, slicing up his chest and cutting up his tonfa that he has in his arms. And at the same time, the antibodies go flying in the air. Zoro catches it, and Zoro hands the antibodies off to Chopper. And in this instance, Chopper fully understands, lets everyone know that, hey, listen up, everyone, use fire on the Ice Oni. Zoro, well, before that, Zoro gives the antibodies to Chopper, saying, can you handle this floor now? You'll live, right? And Chopper says, of course! I already figured out how this virus works! Knew you would. And Chopper gets on a pedestal and says that, listen up, everybody, use fire on the Ice Oni. This virus is fused with a gas that chills the body. So it just shows you just how smart Chopper is for him to figure out that it's actually a gas. He doesn't have his materials to try and formulate what it is, any of his equipment to figure out what the virus is. He literally figures out what it is by it just being on his body. Use fire on the Ice Oni. This virus is fused with a gas that chills the body. Just look at me. Once you stop the chilling of your body, the virus won't reproduce. I'll make enough antibodies for everybody. I'm a doctor. I'll save anyone, friend or foe. So hang in there. Don't fall victim to a heartless creep like him. And then Queen tries to aim for Chopper to try and take him out. But Zoro sends us, I'm gonna assume it's Zoro. Zoro ends up sending a slash towards the platform where Queen is, and makes him not only drop his gun, but I think he also sliced into it as well, causing Queen to drop his gun, and it also getting slashed in the process. What is this stupid game about? I didn't come all this way to this island to waste time on a bunch of nonsense. They say Kaido's the toughest guy in the world, so I'm here to slice him into pieces. And then everything starts shaking, and everyone is assuming, some people are assuming that this is Zoro's doing. His furies caused an earthquake. What's going on? I can't stand on my feet. Is it Haki? The Conqueror's Haki? What have you done, you beastly man? You know I didn't do this. Now, some people were quick to jump to conclusions like, what? Is this Oda's foreshadowing that Zoro could have Conqueror's Haki? Because a lot of people have said that for some reason, but I don't buy into it. That's just my opinion. I could go on a whole tangent of why I think Zoro shouldn't have Conqueror's Haki, but I'm not going to. I know how you feel, Zoro. I saw it too. I saw what fell through the hole in the roof. And what turns out to be the thing that fell in the roof was actually Kiku's arm that fell through the roof. We got a late start. I wish I could just fly up there. But neither route would be that simple. And then Marco flies into the performance hall. So this just pretty much shows us that Marco is now going to be lending his hand helping out the Straw Hats from here on in. Marco is here in the performance floor. There's no one to distract him, no Big Mom to keep him back, no one to talk to, no one for him to talk to him to get distracted by anything. He's here to help the Straw Hats now. Which makes me wonder if, in order for Zoro to get to the roof, is Marco gonna have to contend with King? Because King is the only other flyer, along with his Smile Fruit user group, that could possibly attempt to keep Marco from flying to the roof. So, could we possibly see a Marco versus King skirmish? Could we? We could possibly. Straw Hats, Marco the Phoenix. Marco the Phoenix? Yep, that's me. You guys are the real muscle. What are you doing stuck on this floor? Need my help with anything? And then it just shows Tama with Nami wondering, because everyone's starting to feel the shaking. Everyone is feeling the shaking over the entirety of Onigashima, wondering what's going on. Is it an earthquake, Jinbei? It's an odd island, but... And the island is shaking. Help, this has never happened before. And Lost Submarine, I forget the exact name of it. You know what? Hold on. What is Lost Submarine? Submarine's name. I'm looking it up. No one needs to tell me. The Polar Tang. Alright, Polar Tang. I kept wondering what the name of the submarine was. I knew I couldn't call it a yellow submarine, but the Polar Tang is just dodging rocks as something is happening to the island. John Bart is saying, well, that's not good. Now we can't join the fight, as they have to actually swim away from the island. And then Black Maria says, so impatient, looking upwards. Then Grandpa Heel says, is the island sinking? And then there's a panel of Kid. He's not saying anything. And it's showing that Yamato has made it to the port area outside of the dome. So she's literally outside with Shinobu and Momonosuke. Your life is the top priority, Momonosuke. Let's get on a ship and move away from the island. And as she gets to the dock, she notices that there's no ships. And not only that, there's no ocean. Huh? What does that mean? I was too late. There's no escape to sea anymore. That's what the shaking is about. What is happening, Yamato? Dragons fly through the air by creating something called flame clouds. Meaning, and in this one massive, spectacular, and also terrifying shot, it shows the entire island of Onigashima floating in the air. Kaido sent Onigashima itself aloft. Huh? He's going to move the entire island to the flower capital. What? And then the last words we get from this chapter, the last chapter of this month, is... Are you satisfied yet? Kozuki is finished. Wano, or more accurately, New Onigashima, will become a pirate stronghold. Let us begin the world of violence. So, Kaido is literally causing the entire island of Onigashima to float out of the ocean and make its way towards the flower capital in Wano. It remains to be seen what's actually going to happen when the island gets there. Is he going to have it floating over Wano as an intimidation tactic in order to discourage people from trying to, fight Kaido? Or is he going to do the unthinkable and just drop his whole island on the flower capital itself and then make Onigashima the new capital? Lots of theories to go on what this could possibly mean. But we're not going to get a new chapter of One Piece until December 13th. And you know what that means? We're getting Cyberpunk before we get One Piece. What a wonderful time to be alive. But overall, Kaido's strongest character confirmed. Hey, Kaido's just showing us more and more often why everyone says no matter what happens, always bet on Kaido. Like, seriously. Law's ship is a submarine, Capone's ship is a tank, maybe Uru's ship is a plane. Maybe. Have we ever seen Mad Monk Uru's ship? I don't think we have. I think we've seen the... Actually, you know what? I think we have. Mad Monk Uru's. Hold on. Let me pull up Worst Generation. Mad Monkey. Alright, Fallen Monk Pirates. Do they have a ship? Yes, they do in fact have a ship. It is called the Hanjo Maru. We saw a ship, yes, the Hanjo Maru. Hanjo Maru. Their ship takes on a Japanese folklore theme with a white Oni figurehead that has sharp yellow teeth, large black wings, and a crossed Nagitana and Hanya, and a shield behind it. It has two masts. The front bears two white sails, with the top plain and the bottom brandishing the crew's Jolly Roger. The front mast also has a crow's nest, a Jolly Roger flag, and a shrine above the bottom sail. The back mast has a single black stripe mast that has a large part of its middle section missing, as well as another Jolly Roger flag on top. The cabin is designed to look like a shrine as well. The helm is on a raised platform, and each side of the ship has 4 cannons. So, I don't know if there's a certain trait. Yeah, it's just a normal ship. There's nothing special about it, real honest with you. It's rather impressive that Kaido can both fight, recover, and propel a whole island at the same relative time. Hey, like I said, no matter what happens, if you have to bet on anyone in a fight between Kaido and anyone, bet on Kaido. The fact that this man was stabbed multiple times, slashed in the very same scar, it slashed in his only scar, enough to draw blood, literally had multiple parts of himself lacerated and stabbed into and cut and stabbed. And the fact that he manages to just shake all of this off, even when his opponents are using Ryuo, though not to the degree of Oden, he shakes all of this off. And most of his stabs and cuts came from when he was in his dragon form, and then he reverted to his human form, literally got stabbed in the side by someone, knocked them away. Like, if I got stabbed in the side by a sword, it would go completely through my side, including my organs. Can we just talk about this? People in One Piece have organs, okay? When people get stabbed, they're stabbing through an organ or two. They're either stabbing through a stomach, stabbing through intestines, a spleen, a lung, whatever. People are getting stabbed in multiple parts. There should be internal bleeding, okay? If there's real medical terms in One Piece, then there should be a lot of internal bleeding occurring from all these people who are getting stabbed and smashed and hit hard, fractures, permanent brain damage, and a whole bunch of stuff. Yet Kaido is tanking every single one of these so nonchalantly. Goes to show that Kaido's durability is next level. It is! We haven't seen durability like this since Big Mom. But Big Mom's durability is based on her, I want to say, mindset. Because when she thought of Mother Caramel and she kind of lost it, it caused her durability to rescind to the point where her just dropping to her knees caused her knees to get scuffed up and kind of bleed a little. Kaido, however, this dude has been stabbed I don't know how many times, been cut I don't know how many times. There doesn't even show any resemblance of any scars or markings on his body from him being cut. Can armament haki be applied over internal organs, though? We are still learning about haki as a whole. That's the question. Basic stuff. I bet none of you have ever thought of, until I said something about internal organs being injured and whatnot, I bet none of you ever thought that, could you possibly use armament haki on the inside of your body? Could you use armament haki around your heart to make it so that it can't be stabbed from the outside? Could you use armament haki around your organs to keep it so that even if a sword goes through your body, it does no damage to it. Because we always see haki being used on the outside, but we never thought if haki could go as far as being used on the inside. Like, we've seen people completely haki up their bodies. I mean, Virgo is a perfect example of this. He's the first example of a full body, hokied up body. But we have never thought what could happen if a person could advance their haki to the point where not only can they protect the outside of their body, but also the inside. Pretty sure you can't? Maybe. Like I said, it's a weird concept. And possibly the more I think about it, the kind of more ridiculous it becomes, because then it just opens up a whole new can of worms. Like, well, if that's the case, then that means that people who have been stabbed multiple times in the entirety of One Piece possibly could have been using Armament haki to shield their organs. That just opens up a whole new can of worms. As fun as it sounds, and this is me, I'm saying all this random extra stuff concerning it. As fun as it sounds, it would just add on a whole bunch of unnecessary extra. Because in order for the concept of internal haki, internal armament haki to be a thing, it would have to have a set place in One Piece of which it would actually be important for it to be a concept that applies. And as of right now, I just don't feel like, as of right now, the more I think about it and my weird theories on the matter, the more I think about it, it would just be too weird for Oda to introduce internal armament haki. Because, like, what purpose would it serve? It would only serve as, it serves like a plot point. It'll only serve as just an expositional plot point. Here one moment and then forgotten the rest. Kind of like the plot of the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Everything is just done for a plot point. Rather than it be a coherent story, it's just set pieces with stuff. Alpaca Man had haki spit in the anime. True, but that's just spit. That doesn't mean that that's imbuing haki into a projectile. But not something internally. Not just pure haki he's spitting out. That's just him using haki on his spit. So it's an external, that's an internal thing that's also turned into an external thing that he can also imbue. It's not just specifically haki he's spitting out, though. Can you imagine how Dr. Hope's sick notes, Wired, or other channels doing medical injury breakdowns on a great deal of One Piece fights? I can see Shanks having insane haki applications like protecting internal organs. It would be nice to have some sort of healing haki or other such learnable techniques in One Piece. I don't know. Because if the Rise of Skywalker has taught me anything, introducing healing techniques of something in a series so late in the last film of your series, or so late into the game, without no explanation how it came to be, and it just being there all of a sudden, it just serves as just unnecessary chaff. So, healing haki would have to be a very important thing, but also had to be incredibly rare, or, well, I don't know, I can't say this in line of how Oda would do this, because I'm not Oda, I wouldn't be able to figure that out, but in order for healing haki or the like to be a thing, it would have to be a part in the story where it actually has very significant relevance. It can't just be something Oda would just introduce, and it's just a thing now. It has to have importance to the story at large. Plus, not only that, if you have healing haki as a thing, then maybe it could possibly diminish the effectiveness of the series Doctors. Because think about it. You got, say for instance, healing haki was introduced, and Luffy learns it. Then it would and then he learns to, heal himself. Well, then he never has to worry about Chopper having to heal him, or treating him, or anything like that. So I feel like in order for healing haki to be introduced, it would have to be introduced where it does not undermine people who can already do healing in the story. The only way that type of concept should exist in One Piece is if it's introduced and it doesn't undermine what people are already capable of doing with healing in One Piece as a whole. That's the only way such a concept could be introduced. Because you can't just introduce an OP mechanic like self-healing with Haki and expect it to not cause other people who have been doing the same thing to still have that same sort of relevance. It would have to be introduced, but not undermine the importance of other characters who can do the same thing. Well, do the same thing in long lines of healing, is what I mean. Can't wait to see Rock's Haki, especially if he gave the mighty Garp such trouble that he had to team up with Roger just to take him down. Look, when we find out just what type of person Rox was, aside from the story that, Sengoku told us way back when in the Ultimate chapter, still remember that, I feel like our understanding of the group, I feel like we're going to be introduced to even more new concepts when Rox comes together. I can see healing Haki or other techniques could be somewhat conditional or something similar. Yes, you can't, like I said again, it can be situational or it has to be some extreme conditions, but it can't just be something that can come in and then it undermines the importance of other characters who serve the purpose of healing other characters. Because then their usefulness goes down. And when it's important characters, you can't have a character become less useful if a new concept is introduced that causes them to become less useful. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last chapter that we got in November. We got 4 chapters in the month of November for One Piece. And I'm wondering, is it bright enough in here for me to not have my light on my face anymore? No, I'm going to keep the light on me. It looks nice. In the playback, it looks nice. But, overall, I enjoyed these chapters. But now it just leaves even more questions. And more expectations of what the next chapter is going to bring now. Big Mom is heading up to the roof with Kaido. I don't know what's going to happen with Big Mom, because it's only going to be her, Zeus, and Prometheus up there. Pedal is contending with both Carrot and Wanda right now, so Big Mom does not have anyone in her corner to, aid her in any sort of backstabbing that could possibly, and I say this as a very big possibly happen during this fight on the roof. She could be disappointed that she couldn't take part in taking down the Scabbards with Kaido, or maybe there's a whole conversation's gonna come into play here. Anyone else notice that M and Mihawk have the exact same eyes? Coincidence? I think not. Well, anyone can have the Rinnegan in One Piece, but it remains to be seen if it's the exact same eyes as Mihawk. Mihawk's eyes are golden, but we don't know the color of M's eyes. If they're gold like Mihawk's, then it'll just raise more questions. Not unlike how Naruto and other characters can self-heal to some extent, it would have either conditions or limits. Yes. But who knows what's going to transpire when Big Mom meets up with Kaido on the roof, while Onigashima is floating back to Wano. Who knows what type of conversation is going to come up? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen to the Scabbards? Because frankly, as of right now, Kaido is just mopping the floor with them. They had him in the first half, I ain't gonna lie. But as soon as Kaido caught his breath, told his beast pirates to go, and changed back into his human form using his Kanabo, he he pretty much did to the Scabbards what Jake Paul did to Nate Robinson. Oh, I saw that knockout. Laid them all out. M-Sama's eyes are red in the anime. Okay, so they're red, so they're not exactly the same. They just have similar designs as far as the rings in their eyes multiple times. But Kaido pretty much has gotten to a point where he's kind of fed up with the Scabbards now. And he's so nonchalant about just beating them and just causing Onigashima to start floating towards Wano. He says, let's begin the age of violence. They showed M's eyes in the anime. They are indeed gold with the same pattern. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it is Oda after all. I don't think Kaido was actually trying. Nope. He's not. He's not. He's not, because he has yet to use his Raime Hake on any one of them. Literally, the one thing that was able to one-shot Gear 4 Luffy, he hasn't used it on any of them. He's just beating them. That's all he's doing. And they're getting hurt. Kaido has, he reminds me of how Thanos was during Endgame, where instead of, just going after the stones, he just wanted to kill the Avengers. He's just tired of them interfering. So, that's the same thing that Kaido's doing here with the Scabbards. He's tired of them interfering, and he's just trying to kill them. And he's beaten all of them. But the thing is, instead of going in for the kill, he's just beating them. Little by little, he's just beating them. He's extending their suffering. So you know how, just to show how sadistic he is, he could just go out of his way to just bash their skulls in and kill them outright. But he's just smacking them around, giving them chances to get winded, to get their breath back, only for them to smack them around again. He's just playing with them right now. We don't know what's going to happen to them. Luffy either has to get to the roof real fast, or Zoro needs to get to the roof real fast with the help of Marco. But there's still so many things that need to come into play before Kaido gets that one final big battle. Big Mom will fight Kaido and show the Scabbards how it's done. Where are the Charlotte children? Feels like Big Mom's crew isn't even involved in this arc. They literally became a running joke at this point. They go up the waterfall, get knocked down by King. Then they go up the waterfall again and get knocked down by Marco. It's all like, looks like Team Charlotte is blasting off again! The only person who managed to get onto the mainland of Onigashima, well, actually, the only person who managed to get to where Big Mom was Pedals Pedal, and he was using like a candy slug to travel with her. The Charlotte children aren't even on Wano right now. Kaido wasn't even using Haki to soften the blows he was taking. That's scary when you think about it. Armament Haki is useful for softening blows and protecting oneself from damage. Kaido has not been using any of it this whole fight. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen him use Armament Haki at all. During this entire time we've seen Kaido be injured, we have never seen him Haki up. Ever. Even now, when the Scabbards are able to cut into his flesh and cut into the scar that Oden gave him, not once have we seen him armor up with Haki at all. And he's tanked everything. That cut across his chest, yeah, it got him winded. But that's it. Afterwards, he's just ignoring everything that's happening to him now. Kaido is a complete beast. Do you think Bello Betty's Devil Fruit works on anyone? How strong you think it is? Because I can see now 2 powers that can be used on Momo, Bello Betty, and Shinobu. Her power can pretty much work on anyone, but they have to have the resolve to actually, take advantage of that. Because when she used it on those citizens that were getting attacked by Pinkbeard, or Peachbeard, however you want to call them, once they decided to take on the pirates, they all got buffed by her Devil Fruit power. So I'm pretty sure it can work on anyone. How strong do you think it is? It depends. I hope Kaido still has like 2 or 3 other special moves. Look, we need to know. Look, his Thunder Bagua, his Raime Hake, it cannot, or his Borobrese. Those can't be the only 2 moves that he has. Like, they can't be his ultimate moves. Even his dragon form doesn't even name his moves that he can do. Not only can he shoot fire, but he can shoot lightning, and he can shoot out invisible slices that are capable of slicing through anything, including human flesh. But I don't think that we've seen the penultimate of what Kaido can do. Kaido is just tanking and beating everyone he has come across. The only person he has not beaten effortlessly was his slight skirmish with Big Mom. And we didn't even see that fight, though I feel like we might see a short skirmish if the next episode of One Piece is anything to go by. But Kaido is just showing us in this entire arc why he is called the strongest creature in the world. So does chapter 997 confirm about Kaido's race or no? No, it doesn't. There's a lot of theories, even a lot of people saying that dragons are able to use their flames. Dragons are able to move things using something called flame clouds. And a lot of people are running with that one sentence thinking that Kaido is a dragon who can turn into a human. A lot of people are running with that idea, but there is no confirmation from Oda whether Kaido is a dragon or what he is. So that has yet to appear in this chapter. So we have to wait until the next one to see if any confirmation on what Kaido truly is ever pops up. But this entire arc, ever since being introduced to Kaido, we've seen monstrous uses of his strength. Smacking to... Kaido is basically the Yujiro Hanma of the One Piece right now. Dude, yes! Yes! Kaido is literally One Piece's Yujiro Hanma. No matter what happens, no matter who faces off against Kaido, they always end up losing, no matter what you can do. Only Whitebeard pulled off any such similar durability and dominance feats so far. With Whitebeard is the only one who comes close to matching Kaido in terms of power and durability and just pure brute strength and, you know, epicness as far as his capabilities are concerned. Whitebeard is the only one who we've seen come close to that. We haven't seen enough of Roger and his fighting capabilities to actually gauge him between Kaido and Whitebeard. Just from their clash alone, it's not enough information. Only that Yamato is in no way, shape, or form Baki. Yes. That's the main difference between Yujiro Hanma and Kaido. But Kaido, during this whole arc, and I'm going to end it here because I'm slowly approaching 2 hours, and I kind of don't want to go on too long for you guys. But this whole arc, and well, specifically these 4 chapters that we got this month, very good chapters, just showing that Kaido is not someone that you can just easily come up against, even with all your training, years of perseverance, and wanting to exercise Kozuki Oden's last will to open up Wano. It is not, now it's just showing us that it's not enough to still contend with Kaido. Because the very same people who want to kill Kaido are basically getting beaten by him one after the other. And now this entire... I'm making sure I ain't dropped no frames. I'm going to go ahead and end it now because it's saying it's not receiving enough. I don't want this to cut out for you guys. But Kaido has shown during this entire Wano arc that he is beyond any person who has shown up in this arc thus far. Just beyond. Beyond durability, beyond strength, beyond perseverance, beyond stamina. No one has been able to stand up to Kaido thus far during this entire arc. Kaido is literally proving to us right now why he is called the strongest creature in the world. Why people say that no matter what happens, bet on Kaido. No matter who, whether it's a whole army, one person, or if you're betting on anyone, always bet on Kaido. Kaido is showing us why he is such a monster. Why Big Mom looked at Luffy and says like, wow, you want to take on Kaido? You guys can't possibly ever hope to beat that thing. When Big Mom says like, yeah, you're not going to be able to beat that person. You can barely beat me, but you definitely are not going to beat that guy. You're not going to beat that thing over there. It just shows you that Kaido is otherworldly right now. As of right now, Kaido is beyond everyone. The moment's going to come when he loses, but it's going to take something extremely powerful in terms of Kaido's strength in terms of his durability that can actually surpass that for Kaido to be beaten. But as of right now, Kaido is basically borderline invincible right now. Even the Scabbards, with all their knowledge of Ryuo and Two Sword Style and the Totsuka Paradise and every move that Oden has taught them, it is not enough to stop him. He is literally the Terminator of One Piece. If it was mixed with Yujiro Hanma, if it was mixed with the Hulk, and it was mixed with all the angst and all the anger of... What's another character that says that you're never going to beat me? Yami Liargo. How good could it be if in Chapter 1000, Oda shows Dofi, in or out of Impel Down, being the narrator of the chapter and telling some dark news to the world? Always bet on Kaido. Does that include against Prime Whitebeard, strongest creature versus strongest man? That remains to be seen, because even in Whitebeard's prime, when we see him being first introduced to Oden, Whitebeard is strong, being able to just clash with Roger. But at the same time, we can't really get a good scope on Whitebeard's abilities when he was in his prime age, because we only saw just a short skirmish, and most of it was off screen. So it's kind of hard to gauge a prime Whitebeard versus a prime Kaido. It's kind of hard to say. The fact that a guy who is said to win every 1v1 is able to lift a whole island with no effort is going to lose is crazy. That's the thing. Kaido is going to lose. But how? With what we've seen, what can we possibly formulate that gives us reason, that lets us know that, hey, this could beat Kaido? What could possibly do it? Kaido is going to lose, everyone. But the question is, with what we know of him, what could possibly be the thing that does him in? If it's one-on-one, bet on Kaido unless it's Prime Whitebeard. Shanks was able to push Kaido back and keep him from Marineford, so does that mean Shanks knows the tricks? Possibly. There's still so much information we don't know about the interaction between Shanks and Kaido. And how that whole conversation, if there was a conversation, how that went. But it had to be something extremely substantial for Kaido to turn around and go back home. I think he gave him booze. Ain't no way he fought that thing. That's what a lot of people are saying. He gave Kaido a whole bunch of sake and just told him, "Hey, take this sake and go home. I'm gonna go instead. I'll give you my ship's worth of sake if you go back home." Well, I do hate being sober. Fine. I won't kill you this time, so just give me all your drink. And you just leave, and you just lose. Kaido has lost before. He has lost. He has lost. Numerous times. 41 times he's lost. Multiple times when he was set... he lost 7 times. Actually, hold on. Let me look this up. What's the exact number of times he has been... both imprisoned and beaten? Okay, abilities. Okay, let's see. Alright, overall, Kaido has been stated to have only lost 7 battles in his lifetime, and has only been injured twice. Okay, I got it right here. As stated during his introduction, people consider it a certainty for Kaido to win any one-on-one battle he takes part in, and even most groups and armies have little ability to take him down. When the daimyos rebelled, Kaido crushed them, and when hundreds of samurai went to Onigashima to attack Kaido 10 years ago, they were all killed. Kaido also took on the Gecko Pirates 23 years ago and slaughtered all of them except for their captain. Physical capabilities. Where is the one where he survived everything? Okay, here it is. This is where I got the 40 thing from. Durability of Kaido. This durability has given Kaido the reputation of being unable to die. He has been caught and tortured 18 times, and people as powerful as the Marines and other emperors have attempted to execute him 40 times, only to fail, as Kaido survived every single attempt because every single execution weapon broke when being used on him. Most notably, Kaido has jumped from 10,000 meters from the sky onto the ground, creating a massive shockwave strong enough to sink a large ship nearby, and emerged only with a headache. It has even become a hobby for him to attempt suicide, only for it to fail. So that's where I got that 40 from. So apologies if I got the information of Kaido being beaten 40 times was mixed up. I got that mixed up with the amount of times they tried to execute. People tried to execute him. People tried to execute him 40 times, and every single attempt to do so has failed. Because every weapon that they tried to use on him broke. They tried to stab him, the blades broke. They tried to decapitate him, that blade broke. They tried to hang him, the rope snapped. They tried to impale him, the very spears themselves broke. No attempt to kill Kaido has succeeded. And the thing is, let me go back to the top of his endurability. He once sunk 9 enormous prison ships single-handedly. By himself, he's sunk numerous ships. As strong as Kaido is, he's no match for the true king, Captain Buggy. Captain Buggy outclasses everyone in the history of One Piece by sheer luck. Homelander versus Kaido. Kaido. I don't care how powerful Homelander is. I don't care if he can fly. He ain't beating Kaido. Kaido also possesses 9 indestructible durability, even without using armament haki. That's how strong, that's how tanky he is. Without using armament haki, he is nigh indestructible. Of course, recently, him getting stabbed into has shown that there are certain chinks in his armor. Other than that, he's basically nigh invincible even without using armament haki. He took multiple powerful hits from Monkey D. Luffy's Gear 3rd while in his dragon form and transformed back into his human form after being pummeled into the ground and proceeded to receive a barrage of Gear 4th hits that were even more powerful, yet he felt nothing more than annoyance. Received no injuries and was able to quickly get back up and counterattack without issue. Kaido also clashed with Big Mom continuously for 1 to 3 days, and emerged without any injuries. While the Red Scabbards were able to accomplish the rare feat of drawing blood from him with their swords and attacks, these wounds were shown to have very little effect on him. Such as the last chapter that we saw. He got stabbed in the side by Denjiro, and he just swatted Denjiro away. Didn't even bother him. He could withstand having his immensely destructible Bolo breaths redirected at him by Raizo's Maki Maki no Mi. Wait, Raizo does in fact have a devil fruit power? Is that real? Wait a minute. Whoa! Raizo does have a devil fruit power. Was this confirmed during using, was this confirmed through SBS or like a Viva card? Wait a minute. He does! He does in fact have a devil fruit power. But it wasn't given a name in that chapter when he redirected Kaido's Bolo breaths. But it's called the Maki Maki no Mi. Raizo ate the Maki Maki no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit that allows him to create and manipulate scrolls. The scrolls can grow in size and unroll as long as he pleases. I thought him just pulling out scrolls was just, adding to his ninja aesthetic. He actually has a devil fruit? The scrolls can grow in size and unroll as long as he pleases. Raizo also has the ability to seal and store objects inside them and later release them. Since Raizo is unaware of devil fruit, he refers to this power as Maki Maki no Jutsu. So was I actually correct when I said that? Wait, does he have a devil fruit power? Was I correct in questioning whether he had a devil fruit power when I read through that chapter? Because he said Maki Maki no Jutsu. Does he have actual devil fruit? And I just dismissed it. I didn't come back to it. But he actually ate a fruit. Hold on. When was this revealed? When was this name given? Wait a minute. Wait. Bruh. It wasn't even officially usage debut but it debuted in chapter 992. But it wasn't officially named. The power of the fruit is demonstrated. It doesn't even show. It doesn't even show when its name was actually given. Wow. It's a Raizo has a devil fruit. I had no idea. I should have known when it said Maki Maki no Jutsu. I should have put 2 and 2 together. But Raizo has a devil fruit. Interesting. But going back to his durability, he could withstand having his immensely destructive Bolo breath redirected at him by Raizo's Maki Maki no Mi, as well as assaults from Nekomamushi and Inuarashi's Sulong enhanced attacks, Kawamatsu's Amanogawa, Izo's Dangirigan, and Kikunojo's Zansetsu's Gamma, ultimately requiring Kinemon, Denjiro, Inuarashi, and Nashira to focus and coordinate their Togen Totsuka attacks together at a scar to finally inflict significant damage. However, Kaido himself stated that the injuries were still shallow in comparison to when Oden inflicted him with a massive scar. The people of Wano are not familiar with devil fruits. They are called sorcery or magic. That much we know, but it didn't really dawn on me to put together that Raizo actually has a devil fruit. So every time we've seen him spawn in objects or spawn in scrolls, that's him using his power. But he does not know that that's what it's called. He just says it's Maki Maki no Jutsu. Raizo's fruit hasn't been given a name, but it's given a name here. So how is it that they come with the name Maki Maki no Jutsu? Well, actually, they might have just came up with the name from him calling it Maki Maki no Jutsu, so Maki Maki no Mi, scroll fruit. But there you go. But that's just the durability of Kaido. So it just makes me wonder, how is someone going to beat Kaido this way? How is someone going to beat Kaido with his level of durability and strength and just overwhelming power? Who is going to beat him? How is he going to lose? That's what I'm wondering. But let me go ahead and end it here because I literally tried to avoid this as much as I could, but I'm 4 minutes away from 2 hours, but I'm going to end it here. The 4 chapters that we got this month were amazing. They were great. I enjoyed them. A lot of people seem to think that the pacing for the Wano arc is going very slowly, even more so for the anime itself, but I thoroughly enjoyed this entire Wano arc as a whole. I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying One Piece right now. Really much. I'm enjoying it so much right now. I'm enjoying this more than I enjoyed like the Whole Cake Island arc. Because the Whole Cake Island arc, let's be honest, the Whole Cake Island arc had a lot of slow moments, a lot of moments where it was like, wow, this is taking a long time for us to get back to what we really want to see, such as the Big Mom execution attempt, and the wedding, and Luffy versus Katakuri, just big stuff that we were looking forward to, and there was just a lot of exposition, a lot of smaller chapters that happened throughout that whole arc. But here in Wano, I personally, and this is just me, not everyone feels this way because I've seen people say like, wow, we got 2 extremely boring chapters one after the other. When are we going to get some... What just happened? I'm refreshing the page to make sure ain't nothing happened because I got the loading wheel. And I'm double checking to make sure that I'm not dropping any frames. I'm waiting for my page to come back. Hold on. I want to make sure that everything is good for you guys. Okay, we're good. We're good. I had to double check because there was a little wheel and the playback for you guys wasn't going. I had to double check. But the pacing for Wano, a lot of people have said that, wow, two boring chapters. The recent chapters, 997 and 996. Everything good for me? Okay, good. I couldn't tell because my laptop decided, like, hey, we're just gonna forget that you're streaming right now and make it seem like you just lost all of your feed and everything. That's what I was checking on. But overall, the Wano arc, yep, I'm gonna hit 2 hours. I'm gonna hit 2 hours. But the Wano arc as a whole, everything just seems to be hitting right for me. This is just me personally. Not everyone will feel the same way about the Wano arc as a whole, but overall, I enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it. And these things that we're learning about Kaido, how he stacks up against two other powerful people we've seen in the history of One Piece, it's just there's a lot of things being revealed right now in terms of Wano. And then it just begs the question that I always ask at the end of these reflections: where is the story going to go once we're done with Wano? Because the whole thing with Law being with the Straw Hats and teaming up with them was to take down Kaido. Once Kaido is taken down, what does that mean for their alliance and everyone else? Okay, so it's okay, so the laptop doesn't want to sync up with me, but at least I know that I'm still going. But everything's good, but it just makes me wonder what's going to happen with the alliance of the Straw Hats and the Heart Pirates once they take down Kaido, because that's the only reason why Law is traveling with them. I think we're all enjoying Wano. I think it's great so far. I think so as well. That's just how I feel personally about the arc of this whole arc as a whole. When it gets to its penultimate chapter, the final chapter that stops the Wano arc, and then we go into a new one. I don't know. I don't want to give myself any just preemptive expectations of what to expect from the new arc that's going to happen after Wano. But I don't know. There's so much going on in the world happening right now. You want a supernova meetup. That would actually be cool. See what the supernovas are doing. Mainly Mad Monk Urouge. Because he's the only one. And I'm not really... Many people say Elbaf and Shanks. Who knows? I mean, that's who Kid, Killer, Basil Hawkins, and Apu, before they got splintered off to other places, wanted to go after. But it remains to be seen if that's going to be the new target that pops up for some other characters. But I honestly don't know where the story's going to go once this Wano arc is finished. But I will say this though. Going into 2021, when we finally get to 1,000 chapters, that's when things I feel are gonna just take a turn for the epic for One Piece, and things are gonna get extremely good going into that new year. Because, I mean, we're going into December, the last month of 2020, tomorrow. So, who knows what's gonna happen in the new year for One Piece. But I'm nonetheless looking forward to it. But, that's all I got for you guys. I was hopefully I was able to entertain you for these solid 2 hours. Just talking about One Piece and the chapters that we got as a whole. I thank you guys for showing up for these little reflections that I do. It's a good moment for us to fully talk. A lot longer than I tend to do when I do my reactions. Those tend to go for about a good 45 to maybe an hour in length. But these reflections are good places where we can put our theories together. Sound theories, mind you. Sound theories together. And just discuss things that have been happening in the world of One Piece with the chapters that we get every month. So I thank you all for just taking the time to just, come by and see me. It really means a lot. You guys know how much I love to do this. This is literally my comfort zone right here. This is what I love to do. And I'm going to keep doing it regardless of what else is going on. Because this is what I love. This is my talent that God has blessed me with. And... well, yeah, I'm just honored that I'm able to be a YouTuber for you guys, that I can entertain you with whatever I tend to upload. So I'm just incredibly thankful for you guys, whether you're coming here to see my videos, or you tell people about me, or suggest people to me. It really means a lot, and it helps this channel. So otherwise, thank you for just coming by to see me. Nice try, Karma, but you're not gonna get me with that. I know how you work. Nice try, though. But with that being said, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna call it a session here for today, so I can prepare myself to eat myself some lunch and relax a little before I have to go to work later tonight. So, with that being said, am I going to stream tomorrow? Yes, there will be a stream tomorrow because I will be reading through the next 10 chapters of Solo Leveling. We stopped at chapters 110, which means we're going to be going through 111 to 120. I'm slowly but surely catching up to all the most recent chapters of Solo Leveling, so I'm looking forward to that. But with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. I can't wait to see you all in my next video. And, well, if you're new here to the channel, and you actually enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing because I am always, always, always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. You know what just dawned on me? That I never made a background that could pop up when I'm done with these. So now you're just gonna look at me. Yep. And now I'm gone.